very side. By my side will stand and always praise thy name. To ever, let my hearts and hands to help increase thy fame. The honor of all these I bring forth our loyalty. So cheer for dear old Eastside, on to victory. Ooh, sing it with us. All aboard, of Eastside. All aboard, yes, Eastside. All aboard, yes, Eastside. Then Drake.
Come on now.
Do that again, bro. I like that one. Yes, fellas. Oh, that Thank you, y'all. We love y'all.
Right. This person I had the opportunity to speak with before she came on stage. You see how I'm calm now?
Oh, this is my girl. Okay, I forgot.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
So I want you guys to welcome her with a big hearty clap, move your bags, whatever you got to do. We're going to bring her to the stage. But can we just let her feel some Patterson right now?
Right.
Like the genuine love that we have in this city that makes us believe we are all related. We're auntie and cousins and all that stuff. Would you do me a big favor? Would you stand on your feet?
Hold on, ladies and gentlemen. You know her family. You know her music. This lady is one of a kind. Introduce her. Introduce her.
I gotta check to see if they're ready yet. I gotta check to see if they're ready. Let me see. Are you ready? Are you ready?
They're not ready.
When I say Tamar, you say Braxton. Hold on. Tamar.
Braxton.
Tamar.
Braxton.
Hit it, DJ. We almost there.
Tamar!
Yeah. Y'all go ahead and give it to her real quick. Come on, Patterson, let's give it up with Tamar Braxton at the International High School in Patterson, New Jersey. Now, y'all standing right? Did you feel it yet a little bit? Feel that passing love coming to you just a little bit? Huh? You know? Y'all ready to get a little bit more? When I say Tamar, you say Braxton. Tamar.
Braxton.
Tamar.
Braxton.
When I say greatness, you say that's you. Greatness.
That's you.
Greatness.
That's you.
Now give her another big round of applause like you about to put
Tamar! I'm gonna let you do this, Yvonne. Have some fun. Go ahead.
Well, Griff, no, because we're gonna do Q&A in the audience. So if you
Yeah.
want to kind of keep your mic on, because you know.
Yeah, I got
and
you.
Sharon's
Good
daughter,
question.
my nieces, help you. Beautiful lady with the cap on right there. Y'all give my niece a big round of applause. Sharon just be voluntold enough for stuff. You are voluntold what to do. Y'all go ahead and have a seat. We're gonna have a family conversation. You know how we do. We're gonna have a family conversation. Tamara, you want to say anything to Patterson before we get started?
Well, I'm so grateful to be here. First of all the love that, you just gave me in this room. I'm just so grateful for it. I love y'all too the exact same way. So thank you. I really appreciate it. Sometimes you never know how much love you need until somebody brings it to you, and I'm just so grateful. I'm just so grateful. Thank you.
Y'all go ahead one more time. I know y'all, because y'all want to get that. Just they'll clap in the middle of any sentence, you know what I'm saying? So just we love y'all, Patterson, and we want to make sure that we do everything we can to make her feel welcome and make her feel the love of our city. I was back there telling her, I was like, you're going to love them. I said, they're going to pull you into a vacuum of love. I said, once you come in, you got to know that you're family after that.
Thank you. I really feel it.
So Tamar, we're not going to take too much of your time. We just kind of want to talk to you so you can talk to us just a little bit. I think the first question that I asked you in the when we were back over there by the truck, I said, what is a typical day like for Tamar?
Well, I think that everyone would be surprised. Like, I am not like high maintenance at all. Like, I'm a regular person. Like, I'm from Maryland, so
Baltimore's in the building.
Well, Severn, by the way, of Baltimore, but I take my son to school every single day when I'm at home. Yeah, and if I'm not at home, I still maintain our morning routine. Like when he gets up, I get up, we pray, and I cover him in the morning.
Say that one more time.
I cover my child in the morning before he leaves. And he is reciting now Psalms 91 before he walks into the building. I make his school lunch, and I pick him up from school, and I do homework. And so I'm a real hands-on mom. And then I go to work, and then I come home, and we do it all over again. But if I'm working, of course, my schedule is very hectic sometimes. But it was important for me to maintain a parental background for him, because he didn't choose to to do what I do. I did, and so it is. I feel like my responsibility to give him a sense of normalcy as much as I can.
Man, how many of y'all moms and grandmas and aunties and sisters in the room can verify the fact that we have to wear multiple hats, get up in the morning, take the kids to school, go back home, make sure they got what they need, make sure they have lunch, make sure they have dinner, make sure, keep that momentum going in their lives. So this is the person, Tamar, right here. This is the person. All the moms in the room, did y'all hear what she said? She said her baby is learning Psalms 91. He who dwells in the secret place of the Most High shall abide under the shadow of the All. Come on now. As a mom, being married before, Tamar, what would you tell your 16-year-old self say about maybe where you thought you were going to be versus where you are now? What would you tell your 16-year-old self?
I feel like I'm in the realm of where I thought I would be. You know what I'm saying? The 16-year-old self of Tamar was very, very insecure. Yeah, I wasn't sure of who I was and what I really truly wanted to do. I knew I wanted to be an entertainer. I knew I wanted to be a singer since I was 5 years old. But I didn't know that it was possible for me, because I always felt like I would be in the shadow of my sister. Oh, does she want to be a singer because that's what her sister did? No. Yeah, but coming from a small town, almost like Patterson, that wasn't the norm. Being a superstar was not the norm. And when most people are like, oh, we're gonna go to college, I want to go to college, but do they have Superstar 101? They didn't have that. They didn't have that. But I would definitely concentrate on loving myself more, because I didn't start to love myself until maybe a few years ago. Yeah. I didn't even know what self-love was at 16.
Right, did y'all hear that? How many of y'all can really identify with the fact that we didn't even know at 16 what self-love represented? Okay. A lot of us, I believe, even during like quarantine, I think a lot of us probably had to kind of recalibrate and get back to, or either figure out and find out who we are. And that's a beautiful thing.
Including myself. I went through so many changes during the pandemic, and one being a nervous breakdown. But that was a blessing in disguise, because it helped me to start to work on myself and work on my childhood trauma and work on the things that I thought that I could handle all on my own. And that was the most beautiful blessing out of that whole fiasco, because had I not started to work on myself, I wouldn't have been a better self today and a better person to show up for myself and show up for my son and show up for places like this, you know, because I was incredibly, I know nobody believes this, but I used to be incredibly shy. I know, with all this mouth, I had mouth at home, I didn't have mouth in public.
My husband would say, big dog at the gate.
Oh, baby, rough.
They'll say to me all the time, oh, you big dog at the gate, but wait till we get up out of here. You still gonna be saying that?
Yeah, but I learned it's like nervousness has everything to do with confidence. You know, and not until you start to learn to love yourself and work on yourself does the confidence come in, you know, and I had to learn that. That was maybe like 4 years ago for me.
Wow. Well, thank you. We appreciate
So
it.
it's never too late. It's never
Iman,
too late.
Yeah.
let me ask you, so just 4 years ago, what made you change? How did you change? It's people that sitting here. I'm right here, I'm sorry. I'm right here at Tamara. I'm just saying, I'm sitting here listening to you, it's awesome, but what was the thing that made you change? Like somebody sitting here saying, I want to change. Like, what was that thing 4 years ago for you?
I had to get real with my mental health. Yeah, and I had to really identify that it is a thing. And it is a thing for me, and I don't have any more answers. I can't figure anything else out on my own. And I had to, and I know in our community, we don't want to go to counseling, we don't want to go to a psychiatrist,
Right.
but you know, we think we're going to pray it away. And listen, let me tell you something. I am saved and sanctified and drenched in the blood with the evidence of speaking in tongues. Don't get me wrong. However, I had to really understand that mental illness was just like any other illness, such as diabetes or high blood pressure. And I had to normalize with myself first before I started to speak out about it, that it is okay. Guess what? It's 1 in 3 people suffer from mental illness. So you're not alone. You're not alone at all. Yes.
Thank you, Griff. That was a great question. As far as like women, you guys are hearing what she's saying, right? I know we kind of unpacking it, and all of us who go through certain things, we kind of hear it a different way. Sometimes it's different than the person next to you. But the importance of being a woman, importance of balance, because I tend to think that balance is not a thing. I just, you know, we kind of get in where we fit in, or we do what nobody else would do, or we don't want anybody else to do it because we think
I feel like balance is the trick of the enemy.
Yeah,
I really do.
Because
you don't have to have, you know, a structural, emotional balance every day.
Right.
Some days you just don't feel like it, or you just don't have it to give. You know what I mean? And those are the times and those are the days where you just have to take a break and understand that I can't give any more of myself. And that's why I say balance is a trick of the enemy. Oh, I still have to show up for this, I still have to show up for that. No, you have to show up for yourself first. First, I can do it, I can make it.
we tend to, as women, we tend to get in situations where we let everybody take and take and take, and we are depleted. So we're doing things tired, we're doing things depressed, we're doing things with high level of anxiety, we're doing things with high blood pressure, hypertension, which is, by the way, one of the #1 killers in our realm as far as women are concerned. And so we do that. But I'm hearing you say this, no is a complete sentence.
Yes, period.
Period. Like she said. I told her back then, I said, you realize that we got period from you, right? You were the one coming up. We were already saying it in our communities, but she kind of made it real cool. Like we'd be like, period, you know what I'm saying? Then the city girls came with the period. Now I'll be saying period, parentheses, decimal point, all that good
and
stuff.
It's not even just no. What's wrong with not today or not now? You know?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Not now.
Not now.
Not now.
Later. I'll get to that.
And not feeling the guilt, not feeling the, no, right, that's me right now, no. I think, how many of y'all can attest to the fact that during COVID, post-COVID, you've had to change some things in your life and you had to acknowledge some things, yeah. It is real, thank you, that was a good question, man. You're a mom, you're a wife, you're a mother, you're a daughter, you're a friend, you're a sister, you're a mother, you're a sister, you're a mother, 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 you're a You have an amazing, beautiful baby that we watched. And I remember one time in one of the shows, she said, this don't happen to everybody at one time. You know, he's cute, he's yummy. You always say, he's so yummy. How many moms out here in the room right now? To the moms. Shout out to all the moms. Any advice that you give to a first-time parent, a young parent, or someone who's just raising, the question I posed to you in the back, but let me stop right there, a person who is a first-time mom?
Like what you mean?
Like just basically, you know, what is the one thing that you can tell them that was so powerful as a mom that you kind of discovered on your own?
I have to do it my way. I have to figure it out for myself and what works for me. Yeah, what my mom did, that's what works for her. What my sisters did, that's what worked for them. I had to figure out where I fit in as a mother to my son, because that relationship is personal, you know? And it's not about, you know, what worked, or even making my family happy with the decisions that worked for me and my child, you know? It really has everything to do with being comfortable being an individual, you know? And I think that sometimes, especially in our community, we try to make our family happy, you know, our friends happy, but we have to do what works for us. Yeah, and I think that, you know, I think we put pressure on ourselves to be so traditional, you know, but I am a very non-traditional mother. Like, me and my son have real open conversations because I want him to be comfortable in coming to me with anything. I don't want him to be ashamed to tell me, you know, whatever he's going through, because if he doesn't tell me, I can't help him. I can't be of any assistance to him. So I want to make sure that, you know, because let me tell you something, it was always gay very much in my household, stay in the child's place.
Right.
Well, how are you supposed to expect these kids to stay in the child's place when they have adult responsibilities? How does that work? And so we expect them to be children? How do we expect them to be children when they have 8 hours of school, they gotta come home and do homework, they have responsibilities after that, they gotta clean up their house, or clean up their room, and get their clothes right, to have chores and things like that, but you're supposed to stay in the child's place when they don't feel like a child no more.
And the fact that we have children that are parenting, go ahead, get it out, baby. Get your clap out. I'm not gonna stop if you feel it, go ahead and do it. Somebody say this out loud, say this is personal. Say this is for me. And this is personal. One of the things that's going on right now, which is, I work with teenagers all over the country right now, and a lot of things that we're finding, it's been that way, but I think more people are seeing it because social media makes it more present, but young people that are parenting their parents. A lot of young folks that are parenting their parents because parents are not coming and doing what they're supposed to do or whatever the situation is. And then the other thing is parents are raising children scared. There is a real fear of stifling a child's growth, stunning their growth because of the fact that we are super scared raising our babies. And yeah, you said something so powerful. You said, I want my son to come and talk to me about anything. How does a mom get to that place, or can at least get there not feeling as if that they did everything wrong? You know,
I think when you said parents are raising their children scared, that's because they're not willing to have uncomfortable conversations. You have to really want to get to know your kid, you know, and accept your kid for who they are, you know, and also nurture the things that they are interested in. And I keep saying, like, traditionally, I guess people feel like we have to raise our kids traditionally, but it's not that time anymore, you know? And it's unrealistic. And I think it's unrealistic to expect these kids to have all of these avenues of being adults, because there are no periods on what they can't do anymore. You know, social media is bananas. They're accessible to everything. And it's given very much, you have to check in with your children. Yeah, why, I don't understand, why are you afraid? Why would you be afraid of your child? I don't understand that. You should be afraid of what is, you know, you should be afraid of not talking to your child and missing out on, you know, the relationship that you could possibly have with your child. And I just don't really understand that question. That's kind of like, can somebody elaborate in the audience? Like, anybody know what she's talking about? Afraid to raise your child?
Raising them, and I'll elaborate, and anybody else. Because if you have questions, also that's the thing.
Where's your niece? You want me to?
You can.
Answer.
You can. Y'all can go. We have about 2 mics in the audience right now. So if you have questions, she says she loves Q&A. So we're gonna make sure we get some questions. I'll expound on.
I got her right here.
Okay, just a little bit about the fear piece, Tamara. Raising kids, because it's two fear things. First thing is raising children scared because you know what's waiting for them. So you're afraid because you don't want your child to experience whatever it is that's going on in the world. So we become smother mothers, hover mothers, right? We don't let them talk. Stifling. Yep. And so we don't let them talk. And then the other fear is that we are in denial of what our kids are doing, right? We know they're doing it. We don't want to ask them. Yeah, go ahead. You can clap. That's a good place to clap. I saw somebody clapping. Parents are in straight denial, you know, and I was one of them, you know. I have a 32-year son. I look good, don't I? I'm a grandmama in these streets.
Okay.
And, because I was a single teenage mom, and then when I got, and I know it was in the streets because I was in the streets, so I knew it was waiting or could potentially happen to him, right? So I raised my son in complete fear. So I didn't give him a voice. So in my house, he didn't have a voice. It was what I tell you, you do. And then when he got to 17 or 18 years old, right, I would say stuff like this: you can say whatever you want to say to me, but it's the way you say it. Right? I said, you can talk to me about anything, but it's the way you say it. He said, Ma, you don't even listen to me. He said, you yell and scream. He said, guess what? It goes in one ear and it comes out the other. So there's 2 types of visible fears. The one where you're afraid of what's waiting for them, and the one where you know something is really going on, but you're in denial and you don't want to approach it like she said.
Your girl got a question right here.
Yeah, she took it. I have a 17-year-old in the audience, and I try to bring her and expose her to things like this and this topic of being scared. And I think when it comes to the fear for me as a mom, I want her to like me. Like, I want her to be comfortable with coming to me. But I had a conversation with her, and I said, I don't want you to run from me. I want you to run to me. And she just said, maybe I have to set the tone, because I am kind of a yeller. But the Instagram, the want to be seen, I want her to, no, don't dress like this. Dress like, that. Or conduct yourself as a 17-year-old. But for today, the fearfulness is, we're in Patterson, the drugs, the crime, so I don't want her to be embarrassed to come to me. And I'm gonna turn it
I was
over.
speaking of having open conversations with my son just because of things like that, It really does boil down to accepting people for who they are.
Right.
Yeah, whether they're your child or not. And, a lot of people, a lot of parents are like, I'm your mom, I'm not your friend. Well, why not? Why isn't your child your friend?
Yeah.
Because you have to think about it in the adult sense. Don't you openly have open conversations with your friends? Are you not afraid to have, hard conversations with your friends? Don't you and your friends work through things as friends? Well, why wouldn't I want my child to be my friend? Yeah.
Can I just say, as a man that's listening to a woman talk about raising her son, it's a big deal, ladies and gentlemen, because what happens, and I'm going to just say that a lot of you women are ruining these boys. Ruining them. I'm just saying first of all, a boy has to learn a way. We are different species. You can't say I'm the mama and the daddy. You the mom and you the best mom and you the only mom we got. So we don't know the difference. But if all that yelling, it just make you treat women bad later. So you women have to talk to your boys. You have to talk to them now. Then you have to start telling them, I don't know what it is to be a man. I can just teach you to be a gentleman. I can teach you to be polite to women. My mother taught me how to talk female. You know what that is? It's listening.
Yes.
That's all she taught me how to do is be a good listener. Women want to, a man goes, how you doing today? I'm all right, yeah. How you doing today? Girl, when I got to work, Sharon was there, she didn't have my stapler, and Keisha came in late, she knows she has like, you just have to listen. In the end, it'll happen. So women, listen to your boys. Stop telling them they dumb and like they dead.
If you say that. Now, if you don't say that, you know, you good. You good with it. A couple of things we just want to unpack with, just staying on topic with that, what you just said as far as fear is concerned. I think that is a very valid feeling, you know what I mean? So I validate that feeling. It is very important, though, that we understand that what we put in them is going to come out of them.
Exactly.
We have to trust the deposit. So wherever they are, we have to trust the deposit and understand that the withdrawal is going to be great, right? Not living in fear, not moving in fear, but just let's talk about the denial piece, because that's the most important one right there. I think we need to make sure, I'm personally, I'm talking for me now, we need to make sure that we do ask the tough questions. And if we see stuff that looks kind of shady, because we know, we have a gut feeling, there's an instinct that we have as a mom, as a female, we have that intuitive spirit where that intuition is so on point, but I think we don't want to see it for what it is because we take everything personal. If they win, we take it personal. If they fail, we take it personal. If they make it, we take it personal. That's what, sometimes you got to take yourself out of the situation and see it for what it is. If our young men, if our children are messing up, we got to have that tough conversation and say, I see you. I know what you're doing. You know that that's not right. I can't stand with you in your foolishness. I can't be with you in your mess. I love you. I can love you and not like what you do. I can still love you and not agree with what you do. But what you won't do is you won't make my house a mess, and you won't do this in my community.
Come on.
You won't do this to my city. You won't do this to our family. And you definitely are not going to do it to anybody that comes in our space that knows that I raised you the right way. And that's a period after that. Period.
I know that's right.
It's actually a comma because you have to give them a resolve.
You better change punctuations.
You can't just tell them about themselves without teaching them.
Wait a minute, we just got to, that was the history right there. She said, no, we got to put a comma right there. So now we doing commas. I got a question.
Tamara, I hope you don't get upset. I miss Vince. Are y'all tight? Listen, that's not too heavy for me. I hear about sons and...
Tamar, let's put a comma in there, Tamar. Let's put a semicolon in there.
It's a hardcore period.
I don't do social media and I don't do anything, all of that, and I just love y'all as a couple. And I know it sounds crazy, so you never know. Sometimes you just go on back around, but I don't know. So I just wanted to ask that question.
We're not going to spend the block with my cousin.
I was getting ready to say it. I was going to say, Lieutenant Sharon asking you to spin the block.
Tamar, I'm just going to pass the mic right on.
In Jesus' name. Amen.
Oh, God, let me do it for you. Got the rug. Sharon, I love you. She said, let me just change this coat. It's too heavy.
Duke got a question. Come on, Duke.
We had someone, where did they leave? You? Okay, yes.
I say, Mom, my name is Duke.
Hey, Duke.
I have a question for you. How long y'all been singing? The group?
Oh, my family?
Yes.
Oh, since birth.
Oh!
Yeah.
I want to say this, you really inspire me. I watch your show, your sisters, Tony's inspire me, you, Trina, all y'all inspire me. Y'all inspire me like crazy. I love you like that. I swear you warm up my heart, for real. I'm damn serious.
How about that?
Y'all give it up for Duke. He's the Prince of Patterson. Griff, the young lady right here, yeah, with the jean shirt over it. Are y'all enjoying this right now? Yes. We just real people take
Angel kisses. She got angel kisses too over here.
Much love. Oh my goodness. Tamar Braxton is in Patterson. Hallelujah!
That part.
Come on, somebody.
Lieutenant Easton, you done had your good schedule today, baby.
Yes. Thank you to all those that made this conference possible, and thank you, Tamar, for answering the call. As a parent, as an educator, and now I run a youth center, what advice can you give to me? Because I'm trying to bridge the gap between school, home, and the community. I want us to all come together. We got to bring the UNITY back to community.
Yes.
So what advice can you give? Because the mental health, we have programs for that. We have so many different enrichment programs, tutoring, homework help. But what advice can you give me to give that draw to not only my students, but to my parents?
You can't be afraid to fill in the gaps. You know, if you see something, I feel like it's okay to call it out to the parent or to the person so you can successfully help them get better. Because we all want to, all the time, talk about the things that are lacking, right? But the resolve is, how can I help you? I see this as an issue. How can I help you get better at this? Or how can I assist you at not feeling overwhelmed, Mom? You know what I mean? How can I be an assistance? We have to fill in the gap as a community, you know, and not be afraid of like, I don't want to get in their business. I ain't trying to do that. No, we have to get in each other's business to help each other.
Yeah, and trust. I was gonna say this earlier, but I totally forgot, and it just came to this. We have to learn how to trust each other again. Yeah. Granted, there are women out there that want to know your business because they want to feel better about their downfall, and they want to make sure that yours is worse than theirs, because somehow in that crazy world, if yours is worse than theirs, and they feel good about this, and their fall is probably harder than yours, and then if you tell all your business, you're afraid that they might send subliminals across, you know what I'm saying, across the right, Facebook and all that stuff, and you know they doing shots, you know they doing, you know, whatever it is to get under your skin, or they doing it because they're doing it because they feel empowered, because they know your issues and your problems, because you told it to them. But I feel like this, we need to get back to trust. I'm like this, I tell everything. You can't tell my business better than I can tell my business. Right? You can't expose me. There's no exposing. Google me. I put everything I've done since I was in, 5, 4, 3, whatever. Just learning how to resolve, right? Conflict resolution. The powerful thing is that love covers a multitude of sin. When you love has no boundaries, love has no distance. Granted, they're gonna come in turned up, they're gonna want to fight, but I don't want to fight you, baby. That's a defense mechanism. We tear that down by saying what you said. How can I help you? What can I do to take that load off you, sis? That's a powerful, yes. Woo. All right, we got to wrap it up. Can we take one more?
Yeah, Lieutenant Sharon had, here goes. While I'm walking over here, they just wanted to know how you handle social media. Are you, like, do you just let it go? People say the most horrible things. Like, how do you handle it?
I just don't engage with strangers.
I know that's right. I know that's right. That's so easy. That's a great answer.
They don't know you.
Jeez. Your mama got a question.
No, she's probably gonna say something. We got what, Mom? That's my
Lord. Miss Tamara, I just want to say you got a beautiful family, and God bless all of them. Thank you.
That's my mom.
Ladies and gentlemen, Tamara gotta go. So, yep.
I just have one little thing to say. I just want to say, Tamara Braxton, you are more beautiful in person than you are on television. I watched you from the reality show, from you and Vince, to you and David, to you and this last guy.
Hey, stop. Leave her business alone. Stop watching TV.
I've watched you do all of that. But I want to say that even from that reality show where everybody stays in the house, you have grown. Whatever you've done recently, it shows. It shows in your speaking, your appearance, your whole attitude has changed. And by the grace of God, continue that walk because you are on track. And I'm sure Logan is just loving on you and continue to do what you're doing. And God bless you.
Last question right here. Right here, Tamara.
Hello, Tamara. Hey, girl. So what you have shown us is you being very courageous. And what I wanted to know is what inspired you to allow people to see you?
I get that all the time. People are like, oh my God, you're so brave. And I'm like, no, I'm not, I'm just honest. And just like what you just said, I was like, I'm not hiding anything. I can't, it's too expensive to hide things, you know what I mean? It's very, very heavy. And for me, I need my spirit to be light and free to do the things that I do. I can't carry yesterday. I always say every day is Monday. Every day is a new chance to have a new start, you know, and to feel good about myself and to make better decisions and to love myself more the next day. And I speak about things because I know that I cannot be the only person going through it.
Yeah, you gotta believe it.
And sometimes when someone, like we were talking about earlier, you gotta call it out. You gotta call it out to release it, you know? And if you don't call it out, you're living with it. And I refuse.
I just need to know if there's anybody in this room right now that says you got a couple of eviction notices that you got to send out today when you leave up out of here today. Some things got to get evicted from your life, your space, your mind, your job, your house, your car, your kids, your grandbabies, your nieces, your nephews, your man, your husband, your boo thing, bae, whoever it is. How many of y'all can stand to your feet right now and agree with what we were just saying and give Miss Tamara Braxton a big round of applause for coming to Patterson, New Jersey, y'all. Tamara Braxton! Thank you for coming. How many of y'all point your hands in this direction as she leaves and say, Tamar, we love you, and we got you covered. In Jesus' name. Yes. Oh, wait, here you go.
Hello, my name is Jamie Bland. That's right, I'm your girl, Jamie Bland. I am a youth specialist and life coach. So today in Patterson, New Jersey, I will be talking about mental health. I will speak to you on so many different levels that is going to tie into everything that's going on in life. But I want you to listen. Everybody out there, get out your own way, because the sky is the limit. This is Jamie Bland. Peace.
So good afternoon. Good afternoon, you know? Yes, it is. Good afternoon. Thank you for joining us for this session. My name is Palaska Ramirez. I am the founder and executive director of Generation Fearless. We're a nonprofit dedicated to supporting first-generation women across all stages, so first-generation American, college grads, professionals, and we focus on emotional wellness, professional development, and financial wellness. So we have a fabulous panel today where we're talking about mental health, and I'll give them the opportunity to introduce themselves.
I'm Jasmine Bland. I'm a part of the Jumpstart Community Training and Service Program. I also run the JAZZ program, that's Juvenile Alcohol, Sex, and Drug Addiction Program. This is my mom. I'm gonna let her introduce herself.
You could act like we were sisters. I could have been your oldest. You know I try to be young. So my name is Jamie Bland, and I'm the executive director, actually the CEO of the Jumpstart Community Training Program. We began 25 years ago as a nonprofit organization, and we actually started off anti-violence. We had the people from probation coming in that were on bracelets by way of the probation department. We had Ms. Dawn Moody, she had just came in, and another gentleman by, gosh, I forgot his name. Anyway, they would bring them down to the line, and what I started doing was the hour of power. And hour of power, we talked about everything. And at that time, violence wasn't at its high like it is now. I just came from California. I lived out there 10 years. And before that, I was a part of the problem. I might have been the queen bee ring leader of the problem. And I never saw so many other people in the streets that got along. It was organized crimes in the 70s. People weren't killing each other. You didn't have that much. Well, you really didn't have that many people that were suffering from anxiety and mental health, because I guess we were numb from the trauma just coming out of slavery and being able to be equal somewhat. They call it equal opportunities coming through the civil rights. And I'm just going to talk to you about when it began. When I saw mental health begin, is because there were a lot of males in the early 70s that were on heroin. But I can remember when people started getting really stressed out behind not being able to get off of heroin. And heroin was really reaching our men, the men in our lives. You didn't see that many women on heroin at that time in the 70s. And I'm talking about early 70s and all through the 70s. And some of the women got a hold of it. So parents, grandparents were very stressful, but it was swept under the rug because they didn't know what this drug was doing. We knew that our family members were ODing off of something they called dope. You didn't say heroin and all, say he on dope. We watched them nod. We watched them play a lot of chess. And we watched them sing doo-wop on the corners. Ba-ba-bo-boo. Shoo-up, shoo-up. So, I mean, we looked at them like they were out the way. It wasn't bothering nobody, you know. But it was a struggle for them to get off of that heroin. They started stealing. They didn't get it. They were going to convulsions and some would die. Some of that dope was so good they would OD. And you had parents. You had children, siblings, such as myself, that couldn't understand it. But I watched my brother, who's 13 years older than me now, he will be in his 70s somewhere, but he's dead. He died in 1982. But what I did know that people back then didn't talk about it. You couldn't just go to psychiatrists like that, because you didn't even want your neighbors to know that your child was hooked up on this heroin. Then when them 80s, the late 70s and them 80s came in, the females stuck on that crack. That crack came in like a batarang. So now the grandmothers, they started raising the children. The grandmothers were already suffering from probably their sons on heroin. Now their daughters prostituting to get that crack. Now you got these kids, they sitting on the steps raising themselves because, you know, grandma depressed. Grandma barely, she got to raise another second set of children. That's a hard job. That's a hard job. You're getting old, trying to figure it out, because you already was poverty-stricken from the 70s. So you don't have no money. Your kids on dope. If they're not on dope, they prostitute. If they're not prostitute, well, you already know they stealing, because they got to feed this disease. This new thing here talking about, oh, it's back then it was mostly black people. Not a black woman, a black man, a white woman, Hispanic woman, Chinese woman that's taking care of their household. Staying away from that street activity. Being humble. Worshiping that God. Ain't but one God, and is alive. Some people call him Allah. Those are women and men. Just black women, Hispanic woman, that's what you are. I'm saying I started you from the 70s, brought you to what happened and started happening in the 80s. so that I can get you to understand.
And not to cut you off, today it's the same thing. We just got Molly, we got
It's the
Percocet.
mindset. But let me say this, Jasmine, before you cut me off, because I want them to know where that mindset began in them early 70s. I watched it. It's the same mindset. Now what happens is you have anxiety because all of those drugs that heroin that plagued the community in the 70s, that crack that came in the 80s, now again, Jasmine said it's more drugs now. So that's where all this anxiety and the depression already extended from your household, your parents, your lifestyles. Everybody sitting in here just wasn't born with a silver spoon. So it's almost, I'm just saying, generation to generation. But not everybody went through this. And the ones that didn't go through this, these were the ones that were still traumatized by their neighbor or by the people that they love. So it was a chain reaction. Are y'all following me? So I give you the history of mental health so that you just don't think that just happened today. I've been traumatized in the 70s, watching my brother and his friends shoot dope and OD, and my grandmother having to come to the house. But what I understood when it got into the 90s was that it was all wrong. Drugs was just totally wrong. It wasn't something that you had at that time. They thought it was going to be a suppression because people were poverty stricken. So you look for ways. You ever feel like, oh, I'm going to go out and have a drink with my friends. So you want to go out, you want to get a drink, you want to get a smoke or whatever, and you get worse. Because by the time you get that third drink, now you're ready to cry.
It's something that
when that fifth drink comes, now you're ready to fight. When that sixth one, it's time for your friends to carry you out the building. Okay, because the ignorance really set in. But you went just to get a drink, thinking you're going to suppress all this, take this depression away, take away your emotions and your feelings. Because in the 70s, we weren't taught to go see a psychiatrist. We didn't see any of that going on. It was too easy because drugs were very accessible to the community.
If we can I'm sorry, not to interrupt, just so we can get to some of the questions.
So let me just cut it off, and then I don't have to say anything but because when I talk to y'all, did y'all just get a history? Yes. And can y'all relate to this? Yes. Was my time wasting your brain here? Because I know it's not. I know what I'm talking about because I lived it. Right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. I just want to kind of augment a little bit with what Jamie was talking about. And my background is from a historical perspective. And to be perfectly honest, we have never had healing from slavery currently. Amen. So all of the anger, when we did get civil rights, we never dealt with the historical pain of being generation after generation in an oppressed system. And so when we had the freedom to address that pain, unfortunately, it wasn't the most productive way. I'm happy to say now that mental health is on Main Street. People are talking about it. We are making it available to people. It's no longer taboo. When I grew up, I had relatives that were in the, what do you call it? They used to call it Greystone.
Right. My brother went there.
And that was your worst sentence. Anybody that was in Greystone who knew what that was like, that's something we never wanted. So we had a stigma. And we didn't want to be labeled quote unquote crazy. Well, there's no more warehousing of people with mental health. So now, let's deal with the issue and get healed. And so I just wanted to just come off of what
Absolutely. There's so much that we experience day to day that is trauma that we don't even acknowledge it's trauma, right? That is historic, but in our day to day, especially as women, that we have multiple responsibilities that we're carrying. We're just moving we're not taking the time to understand a lot of the times what's the impact, right, of being responsible for your kids, your grandkids, the work that you're doing. And I'm sad, but I don't have a minute. I don't have the time to be able to address this. I just have to shake it off and move forward, because that's something of luxury. And that's sometimes what happens in our community is still some of the taboo. But I wanted to jump in, and for one of the panelists who was the most comfortable sharing, from your experience, what are strategies or approaches that have been effective in reducing stigma and supporting individuals with mental health issues?
Well, I would say, is it okay, Sharon? Because I want to make sure y'all, I'm going to answer this question. I'm going to answer. First thing we got to do is make sure we let the people know, get out their own way. Sometimes you are overexposed. And you got to know when enough is enough going into this thing here called the brain. Your brain cannot handle, your heart cannot handle a lot of stuff. What I might be able to handle, you might not be able to handle. It's going to traumatize you to the 10th power. And trauma is a whole nother horse of a different color. Because that trauma will keep you from coming outside. Will scare you from being close to anybody. And you might need to speak to somebody. You don't want to talk to nobody.
Don't be scared to deal with that trauma. You have to face that trauma. Those are different ways to overcome those things. A lot of times we feel like, okay, I don't want to deal with that trauma right now because of the pain that it may bring, or those feelings and emotions that you don't feel like going through, but eventually you will have to deal with that. It's going to either boil up to where it comes out in a ball of rage or frustration, fire, or violence. But you don't want that to happen, so we have to stop saying, I'm not going to do it, I'm good, I'm okay. Because we're not really okay, that's just what you call a mask. We mask it in many different ways, especially with the drugs, like she was saying. You mask those things instead of going to seek out the right help. You mask it. It's easier to mask everything, and it's more affordable, too, for a lot of people.
And I also think we underestimate the pain of grief. Any of us who have lost a loved one, maybe had significant loss in our life in any way, it's going to cause trauma. And it's okay to go and talk to someone who can help us unpack those feelings and just emote. Because a lot of us go through trauma and we just pick up and keep it going like nothing ever happened. Well, guess what? The brain didn't forget what just happened. And so it's really important. Even if you're saying, I didn't react, I just lost my grandmother, I just lost my mother, my husband, but I feel fine. You think you feel fine, but give yourself time to process that loss and go talk to someone. And there's all kinds of resources. I want to make everyone aware, you may not or may know about Able To. That's a new program here in Patterson. Anybody that's a Patterson resident can get 8 free sessions of virtual therapy. We have recommended it to over 100 and something people. Every single person came back and said, oh my gosh, this was the best thing. And the lovely thing about it is it's virtual. So you don't have to leave your home. You do it in the comfort of wherever you want to do it. And I heard that it is absolutely amazing. So we're happy to share that resource, and it's available to us for free.
Can I say something? So she has a question, and then you can say something. You have a question, and then.
So I hear you guys talking about the trauma. I heard the young man in the auditorium talk about the trauma. I understand the trauma of death, of violence, but what else are we labeling as trauma? As teachers, and we're here as guests from another city, right? And as teachers in a school in Newark, and I want to say, what are some of the other traumas that we're talking about? And could you share it with us as women, as mothers, as educators, as social workers? What are some of the other traumas that we're alluding to?
Okay, so of course I'm probably like a little bit younger than these ladies. So traumas, as you said, you're a school teacher. Traumas in schools is like a lot of kids don't know that they're being abused, sexually abused in these schools by teachers. That's a trauma too, and that people don't talk about. And we grow through that stuff, and we've never said anything to mom because it's like, oh, okay, we feel like we've grown, we're strong enough to deal with what just happened from a teacher, from someone that shouldn't have approached us in a certain type of manner or way. That is a lot, that's a common trauma, and it's happening a lot, and now we're seeing it more on social media and news outlets because of social media. It's starting to be, with that, it's starting to be, we're seeing it more now, that trauma, per se. It's a little more popular.
So this will give you an example of some traumas that I've experienced and I didn't realize it was trauma, right? So, for instance, I saw someone get hit by a car, right? Get killed by a car. And what ended up happening is that I went on, like she said, I thought I was good. I thought I was good until I went in the elevator and that door closed, right? I thought I was good when I went into the car wash. I thought I was good sitting in the auditorium until if I'm in the middle and it's 100 people this way and it's 100 people that way, right? Now I can't breathe. I have anxieties, right? So you have to look out. We all have to look out for the anxieties. Those young boys, when I talked about earlier today about the shootings, they're going through trauma, right? They are, believe it or not, they are scared to death. Let a tinted window ride past their block and they don't know. What trauma are young people and older people are having?
To piggyback on that, you got to remember the trauma of just knowing and not saying anything, that's a secret. That is trauma. I can't say anything. And like you said, they don't even have to be the shooters. They could just have been an innocent bystander, just out there, or just caught some stuff. That's a trauma. What do? Am I supposed to say something? If I say something, will the people find out? So now you say anxiety. My anxiety is up because maybe somebody saw me. I can't go to sleep because I don't know if they're coming in through my mother's house. It's a lot of different traumas when it comes to the urban community, the inner urban community. And that's why, and I'm going to let you
No worries. Don't change the question. Sharon is hard, but that's the problem, y'all. That's the problem.
I said to you all, we got work to do, and I'm serious about it because the trauma that those young men and those men are feeling, right? I thought I was kind of corny, right? I'm going to the pastor side. I was kind of corny because I was like, they should not be doing that. They know what they're doing. No, I don't know, right? Guess what? I have not even tried to help. We have not even tried to help the young men on the corners to block, right? And we don't got to be aggressive. We can just all go in love, but we have not even tried it, right? We haven't even tried to give another young man hope, right? That's on us. It really is on us. And it's traumatic for us because we know we could do it, but we're scared. All we need is us together.
Absolutely.
This young man right here,
I just wanted to ask
got a question too.
real quickly. I want to make a comment. I want to also commend you, Jamie, for attaching your comment to the historical perspective because not only am I going to speak as a clinical therapist, I'm also going to speak as a survivor of every war that's been waged on this urban. I'm also a survivor of every war that has been waged on urban America, particularly here in Patterson. And to attach what you were saying, what I come to grips with, right, and something that we all have to understand is that here in the city of Patterson, right, whether it's up the hill, down the hill, crosstown, Grand Street, CCP, Alabama Projects, Patterson right now is continuously dealing with the residual impact on the war on drugs. The war on drugs that transpired from the heroin epidemic that had always been in our community, stemming from the painful experience and the severedness of the ties between the black family.
See, well, a lot of the things that we have to understand that there was a severed tie between black male and female relationships, and it was severed, and we were forced to live into these communities that were deindustrialized, white flight, and all these other aspects of social change that has helped to decimate our community, causing many of our men, and particularly, right, and our women follow right along with their men, to seek out an analgesic, pain-relieving quality that we received from heroin. So there was a heroin epidemic prior to the crack epidemic. Crack epidemic came along and decimated our community, and from that also came AIDS and HIV. We're still dealing with the residual impacts. CCP, I remember projects, the tearing down of the projects, the closing down of all these little different institutions that we had, and there's no institutions to support the longevity of the community, nor were there any investment made into our community to address the residual impact of the war on drugs. Second chance investments that Patterson was denied, and we're still dealing with that from one area of the town and from the next. And there's a lot of people coming into our community, impacting and investing in our community, and further pushing us out and showing a blatant disregard for our experience as a community. And that's one of the things that we're gonna have to start looking at, and in order for us to address these unresolved issues that impact our community.
He's one of our resources. But what I would like to say also, and make sure that you give your number out, Brother Akbar. But I would like to say to the lady, I think you are a teacher.
Yes, I am.
Let me just say this to you.
Yes, listening.
The kids that are on their way to school, some of them are already traumatized before they get there, because at night their mother and her boyfriend been going through it. They already probably was drinking and calling each other's niggas, bitches, and hoes. Then they gotta walk through people high as heck off of heroin that's out there trying to get that early morning fix, so they looking like zombies. Then you might see the drug dealers out there that they already heard gunshots. They wondering, was it those guys? Do I walk on this side of the street? Should I went that way? So by the time they get to you and hungry, trauma.
And I can verify that we had a young man in one of our schools speak to the therapist a couple of weeks ago, and she asked him if there was one thing he could change in his life, what would it be? He said to move out of Patterson. He said, what I have to go through when I leave my house to walk to this school, he says, I can't even learn. I have no energy to learn. I'm worried about how I'm gonna get back home. Now that's trauma.
I think part of so much is, right, when you're saying of trauma, we sometimes need to look at basics, living in poverty, right? When your mother is always stressed and working 24/7, not being able to go to school meetings, being able to invest in, not because she doesn't care or want to, because she has to worry about putting food on the table and dealing with a million and other one stressors, that impacts her kids when they walk into the space. When we're looking at food insecurity, when we're looking at all these things that are culturally appropriate, but then at the end of the day have an impact on us generation to generation, those are a lot of the traumas. Yes, we know the big traumas that happen, right, if you witness something, but there's so much that we carry on our day-to-day, especially I think as women, that we're told, you just have to move, you have to feed the kids, you have to take care of them, you put yourself last. And those are, I think, a lot of the traumas that come in and sneak in as anxiety, as depression, and all these other things that we don't have the time, right? And I put that in quotes because we need to make time for ourselves. We can't pour from an empty cup, right? So we need to make sure to take time, whether that is 15 minutes in the car, whether that is being something, because sometimes we don't have the luxury when they talk about mental health and going and doing certain things. Sometimes we don't have the money, the time, or who's going to be able to do these things. But can you take 15 minutes in your car? Can you take an extra long shower? Can somebody watch the kids for a little bit just so you can go to a service? What are the things that are going to ground you in the reality of all of this, using the virtual mental health services available?
And I'll make my number available so if anybody wants access to that.
If there's any college students in the space, UWell is a program now from the state of New Jersey that college students, as long as they log in with a university email, will have access to virtual mental health services for the next 3 years for free. So it's looking at all the different resources that are available within our community in order to make the shift, because it impacts us, but it impacts our children and our grandchildren. grandchildren. So we're looking to make a change. It's small things. By those 15 minutes in the car may mean nothing, but you're not going to go back in the house and yell. Right? You're going to watch your words a little bit, and that impacts your child and how they go to school. So sometimes we're looking at this big solution, but sometimes it's just, can I be grounded in who I am as a woman today, in the million responsibilities that are not going to go away? Can I be okay right now and walk in and give the love that they deserve? But sometimes I can't because everything is pulling. But we were told to stop. So thank you for joining us. We wish we had more time to be able to discuss more.
Can I say one last thing in closing, and this is very short. I don't want y'all to come here and not say, so where do we go from here? What I need y'all to do is stay away from people, places, and things that you already know, okay? Y'all know what's your trigger. You already know what's gonna cause you to go home and take out certain stuff on your kids or not be able to function for the rest of the week because you've been here or you was talking to her or him. So whatever you feel is your trigger, get out your way. Cause you don't, it's nothing in the Bible, in the Holy Quran, that says that you have to take mental, physical, verbal abuse. Do you understand that? I need you to work on being more comfortable in your own skin. Not her skin, not his skin. It's about you. Thank you and God bless you.
Oh, just so you know, the phone number, if you want access, just dial 973-278. 973-278-0220. When they pick up, say able to, and they'll get you connected.
And for Jumpstart, your young people,
973-278-0220. And say, I want to hear more about enrollment in Able To. ABLETO, Able To.
The food trucks will not be available until 4 p.m. Sharon told me to share with you all.
And I'll be here if you guys have any young people you need some work on. Teddy Martinez and I are here. The jazz program, Carolyn McCool. Let me know. Or if you need any help with anything. We the same, we twins.
Look, 10 and 10. Just give y'all the time. 10 and 10.
This is my twin sister.
You know, thanks for having me, guys.
No, please. Thank you.
Yep, anytime you need me, let me know.
I will.
But they get a wealth of knowledge from us. And you know, our boss said he commend me for going there.
Oh,
because I had to
all the way there. You went.
I ain't even
Every problem.
This was not just for entertainment, but every single thing that came up on this stage was purpose-driven, purpose-designed, and it was sent by God Almighty to give us peace, release, and for us to go home and be better in the capacity of me. This was a healing opportunity for us. This was listen, if you went through hell to get here today when you were supposed to be here today. And whatever is going on in your physical body that you're feeling right now, you were supposed to be here today. I love y'all for real in real life.
Thank you. I know y'all hungry. We're going to get past with, but I wanted to mention to you, I mentioned it earlier, we're going to start a young women's mentoring group. Please,
good.
This is my phone number, 973.
That's your real number?
03. Yeah, 23. If I get 200 people, we're going to have
Sharon.
we got enough young ladies out here, and we're going to make change in Patterson.
Say your number again, one more time.
973-703-2387. Thank y'all, and enjoy the food after Riv. I love you, and then definitely go downstairs and finish shopping, because y'all fun.
The vendors are open till 6, they told me. Ladies and gentlemen, while that lady was on stage, I wrote another poem. I call this one Michael Jackson. Mama say, mama sa.
Mama kusa.